Okay, we're going to start. Thanks everybody for joining us. We have a lot to talk about. Sorry we hadn't been podcasting recently. We've been pretty sick.
Yes.
Myself, I've been really sick. Had a bad colds, so we're not sure if it's coronavirus. It's probably not.
Probably not.
So I think we're in the clear there. Though we haven't gotten tested, but
No.
we don't suspect, given the symptoms, that it's coronavirus or anything like that. I think that would be.
Not really.
It's too far-fetched.
No. We're not that popular because...
I mean, I would kind of like it because I would be a test case then, and then I
You'd
feel
be a
like I would
survivor.
have... One of the things now, it's hard to talk about it because we're not experts, but I think if you get the coronavirus, that gives you street cred enough to actually talk about it, you know,
Yeah.
even though you're still not an expert.
Probably.
But you can say, hey, man, I got the coronavirus, so I know what I'm talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about the coronavirus. We're going to talk about a couple other things.
Mm-hmm.
First, at the outset, we want to make it clear that we are not experts.
No.
We have
Not
no
at all.
background in virology or any other kind of science like that. And then the other thing we want to make clear is that we do believe that the virus is real. It's not like we think that this thing is a hoax or anything like that, but we are very skeptical of a lot of things that are going on.
Yes. We believe it's real, and we believe that it's a serious, disease. We're not trying to minimize that people are dying from it and that they are getting sick.
Yeah, no, not at all. But there seems to be a pretty sharp divide among people. And there's two camps that are kind of forming. And one is people think that the response from governments and businesses and individuals around the world that are taking drastic and draconian measures to mitigate the spread of this thing are completely called for, and that they're reasonable,
Right.
that they're not, panicked reactions. And then there's the other camp, people that think that this is a complete overreaction, that shutting down things like the NBA, the NCAA, theme parks all over the place, travel restrictions, and people hoarding supplies, that all of that is panic, and that it's completely unreasonable to behave in this way and to take these drastic draconian measures. I think we fall on in the latter camp. I think this panic is insane. I don't think it's really proportional to other, things that we see every day. Like, Heather McDonald wrote a really good article in, I forget what magazine it was, but it's called Compared to What? She titles it Compared to What? And she draws the comparison to car accidents and car fatalities. And I think that's a really good comparison. Car fatalities, they were 36,560 deaths in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So, 36,000 people, almost 37,000 people died in car accidents in 2018.
Jeez.
And that doesn't count all the severe injuries.
Right?
That people had, the PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, car accidents are a big deal. And if we were to treat car accidents the way we're treating this virus,
Right.
we would shut down all the roads. We would not let people drive until everybody's driving a tank.
Yeah.
That if you're going to be in an accident, you are going to survive.
Yeah.
And you are practically wearing full, NFL football gear, so that if you are in an accident, you're going to be, as safe as possible.
Yeah.
Right? In other words, there's something called risk aversion, right? And different people have different degrees of it. Some people are very risk averse. They don't like taking risks. Some people are less risk averse, and they'll take plenty of risks. And I think this is an attempt by our government to impose severe risk aversion on the population, and I don't think that's the way to go. The government has a responsibility to keep the population safe, but they have to balance that with keeping the population free as well.
Absolutely.
And so, another kind of parallel would be, different diseases, like say diabetes. Diabetes kills, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 to 90,000 people a year. Okay, I think I have the numbers here. I think it was in 2017 it killed 83,564 people. Okay, that doesn't count also the people that have health complications from it. People go blind,
right.
People lose limbs. I mean, diabetes is a big deal. Okay, if we were going to treat diabetes with the hysteria that we're treating this virus,
oh yeah,
I mean, we would have government-imposed diets, government-imposed lifestyle changes. People would be mandated to exercise, to get their health in order. We would prohibit the sales of foods known to cause diabetes. Mm-hmm. I mean, we would take drastic measures, and would it save tens of thousands of lives? Yeah, absolutely it would.
Yeah, absolutely.
All those measures would save tens of thousands of lives. Severely restricting non-essential travel would save thousands, if not tens of thousands of lives every year. Is anybody suggesting we do that? No, of course not. That would seem insane.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the government coming to your door, knocking on the door, hey, did you eat donuts today?
Yeah.
Did you get your exercise?
In your kitchen.
You put cameras in your kitchen, surveillance state, nanny state type scenario? Of course not. Nobody's suggesting that. That would be crazy. Mm-hmm. So why are we allowing ourselves to succumb to this behavior with this silly virus that's killed only a handful of people? Well, a lot of people make the case that it's because it could be, they're not making the case for what the virus has done,
right.
but for what it could possibly do,
right.
Because there's uncertainty. You can't live your life restricting your freedoms based on uncertainty. Yeah, it's uncertain. I don't know if when I drive out the door in the morning, I'm going to get hit by a car. Right. If I knew that for sure, I'd stay home. There's risk. There's risk in everything. And I feel that the risk mitigation that is being imposed right now and that's being taken by businesses and governments and individuals is driven by media. It's driven by the media. It's all hype. It truly is. And the Chinese took very drastic measures to mitigate the spread of this thing, and it seemed to have worked, right? I mean, a very small fraction of their population, very small portion of their population got infected. Why? Because, they quarantined and they sprayed everything down, and, they rounded people up, and, they put hand sanitizer on everybody. They gave everybody toilet paper. But they took very drastic measures. But the Chinese population was incensed.
Yeah.
I mean, they were livid about what their government was doing to them.
Yeah.
They were not happy.
No.
I think they would much have rather gone about their lives. The economic devastation on many families in China was, catastrophic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so they much, they would have much rather have been. I think this is what the government should do. They should take an approach very similar to what they did with tobacco. What you do is you inform people about the risks, and you allow people the freedom to take the risk.
Sure.
That's what you do. You say, listen, folks, there's a virus out there. This is what the profile is. It's affecting the elderly. So the elderly should be very, very strongly encouraged to self-quarantine. Mm-hmm. Because that is the target population. That is the population that is being hit the hardest by this virus. So if you're up there in age, Stay home. Stay home. If you're a young person, minimize your contact with the elderly. Mm-hmm. Right? Don't come in contact with them. Call your grandparents on the phone. Call your aunts and uncles, whoever.
Take measures to keep people who may be infected, young people, out of the nursing homes, and they do need to be more strict than the rest of the population. But the rest of the population, like you were saying, should be encouraged to understand what's going on, and elderly should be encouraged to stay home and stay away from young people in particular who are out and about all the time.
Yeah, nursing homes, they need to take a lot more precautions. But really, the population should just be informed about the virus, mm-hmm. let known what the risks are, and let people take those risks. I think that would be the right approach, because the economic damage that is being caused by these draconian measures is very severe. It's much more severe than the damage that would have been done by this virus. Maybe it would have spread a little bit more, but again, you can save tens of thousands of lives by imposing draconian measures on diets and lifestyles and forcing people to live healthier lives, or restricting travel, and you save hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of lives that way too. So would it be worse if they didn't take these measures? Probably. The degree to which it would be worse, yes, is unknown, but precisely because it's unknown, you can't take measures that are going to be that drastic. The H1N1 flu was also unknown when it came out in 2009.
It was everyone was
the virus itself was novel, just like this coronavirus is novel. Mm-hmm. And so anytime something novel comes up, you can't just lock yourself in your house until everybody figures out every minutia and every detail about this thing.
No, absolutely not.
We can't live our lives that way. I think I tend to be less risk averse, and I'm not saying that that's the best way to live your life. I'm saying that this level of risk aversion shouldn't be imposed. And it is curious why businesses and governments are taking these kinds of drastic steps, because it's so disproportionate to their behavior in other similar circumstances with things that also create death and destruction. Viruses, or say, for example, traffic fatalities, or disease like diabetes or what have you. People don't react in that same way. No. They're only reacting this way with this virus. So why could that possibly be? Well, many people suggest that it's for political reasons. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. You get conspiratorial, but definitely, I'm not sure what other answer people might suggest, but the point is, we believe that there's a lot of hysteria going on, that the panic that's going on is media induced, and that people need to look at the numbers. I see a lot of people also pointing towards experts. Well, the experts say that that this virus is very severe, and you're not an expert, so why are you talking? Mm-hmm. Okay, experts get it wrong all the time. Yep. I mean, if we were to listen to experts, nobody would be driving a car right now.
No.
And if we were to look at computer models, Manhattan is under 5 feet of water right now.
Yeah, climate change.
I mean, climate scientists have been getting wrong predictions, have been making wrong predictions for decades now. Since the 1970s, they've been saying that there's going to be famines, that there's going to be floods, that the oceans are going to rise by many feet, that all these species are going to go extinct. So many predictions,
yes,
that experts have made for decades have been completely wrong. Completely wrong. And so just listening to experts isn't an argument. Well, the experts said. They're not infallible. They're not God. They don't speak with infallibility. They're just people, and they make mistakes, and many times they're political. And so I think people should be allowed to think for themselves. I think that's a key takeaway from this is, in the words of, and I don't mean to condone everything Timothy Leary ever said, but think for yourself, question authority. That's really one of the key takeaways here is think for yourself and question authority. If the authority is telling you that this is the case, think for yourself. Look at the numbers, look at what's going on, and demand that the government give you the freedom. In fact, the government doesn't even give you the freedom. I mean, you have the freedom. They can only take it away. But demand your freedom to make your own choices. And I think if we all do that, then I think there would be a lot less panic, and I think there would be a lot less worry around this virus that so far has killed 5,000 people worldwide. The flu kills about 500,000 people every year. So the numbers are paltry. This is not yet a severe crisis.
No.
And I don't think that there's anybody that says that it is a severe crisis. I think people are saying that it could be. And that's why these measures are being taken.
Right.
Not because of what it is, but because what it could turn into. But the reality is we deal with real severe crises every day. I think something like 100 people a day die on our roads. That's a real crisis. 90,000 people dying of diabetes every year. That's a real crisis. That's not what could be. That's what is. And with those real crises, we don't take these kinds of severe measures.
No.
So it, I never thought I would live through this kind of a panic in my life.
No.
I'm 38 years old, and I've never lived through something like this. I don't remember this kind of panic ever.
No, I don't.
We didn't do this. We didn't shut down everything for 9/11. We restricted air travel for a couple of days.
We restricted air travel, but President Bush.
But that was about it. It wasn't like we shut down every theme park,
Right.
every concert, every sporting event because there might be a terrorist attack. I
remember people choosing not to go to these events.
Sure.
But I remember the president encouraging us to live our lives as normal.
We decided to start doing this podcast, and as soon as we did it, this virus hit, and we wanted to make this podcast about all sorts of different topics.
Yes.
And,
have it be really fun, not too serious.
Fun, not too serious, and then all of a sudden, there is nothing to talk about but this stupid virus.
Yeah.
So,
and the hysteria. Mostly it's just the hysteria. Mostly it's...
Yeah, of course. A lot of people are saying, well, you can't deny that the virus has affected your life. No, the virus has not affected my life. The panic has.
Yeah. Yeah.
The panic has affected my life because I went down to the grocery store and the shelves are cleared.
Yeah.
A few days before, I started seeing online that people were going berserk and buying everything at the store. I thought, well, we live in one of the reddest parts of California. People are pretty sensible around here.
Yeah, no.
And
People
I
are
thought, people are people. I thought, and I would go to the grocery store and I didn't see any of this insanity.
Even on Monday when I went, or Tuesday when I went.
And I thought, people around here are going to be fine. And then all of a sudden I go to the grocery store just, what was it, yesterday or a couple days ago? And everything's cleaned out. And I think to myself, wow, it got here.
It did. It spread.
It spread. The panic spread. The virus didn't, but the panic did.
What I find interesting are the people who they've interviewed on the news and in articles and such. Yeah. And they ask them, why are you buying all of these things? And they say, I have no idea. I don't know. And that's because everyone else is. So they think that they should too. You know?
Yeah.
And then the other people, the rest of us are like, okay, they're buying up diapers, they're buying up toilet paper. I'm not going to have any. So that makes us panic a little bit. As a mom, I'm a little panicked that I'm not going to be able to find formula for my child. So it's kind of like this avalanche of panic, but it starts with the people who are panicking for this virus. Then it goes on to people who are panicking because everyone else is panicking. And then there's the rest of us who start to panic because we might not find the essentials that we need.
Yep, that's right. Well, folks, we're going to leave it there. Our camera battery is running low.
Very low.
So we have to end it short. We're going to come back to you soon with some more information, some more details, and hopefully some more something a little bit more lighthearted than panic, possible Armageddon, and all of this craziness.
Yes. Well, on a happy note, our daughter just turned 1 on Tuesday, so send her a little happy birthday, which was why I was at the store. And she's a very happy girl, though I think she caught a little cold from mom and dad.
Yeah, our daughter has a little bit of a cold.
She's been coughing a bit, but she's had good energy and been happy still, so.
Yeah. All right, folks, so we're going to leave it there. Until next time.